As a feminist or to pursue feminism. It's just a matter of having choices and following through on those choices. So if your choice is to have a successful career and have as much opportunity as any man in that career, then you should have the choice to do that. Or if your choice is, to stay home and raise a family and, be able to do that with all of the freedoms that you need to do that, then that's what you should be able to do. And for me, that's what feminism is. It's just the ability to make choices without anyone hindering you based on your gender. Or I wonder if I got treated this way because they underestimated me or, they thought I wasn't smart enough to know the difference. It's usually very subtle like that. And it usually happens after the fact and you're like, wait, what just happened here? Mm-hmm. So sometimes that can happen when I'm interviewing somebody, or sometimes that can happen when I'm being interviewed for a job, let's say. And there are little moments where you have to make choices and you say, well, am I going to stand up for myself, or am I just going to accept that this is the way it is? And standing up for yourself doesn't have to be, accusing someone of doing something. You don't have to say, hey, what you're doing or what you just did was sexist. It doesn't have to be that. Mm-hmm. It can just be being more than they thought you were going to be. It can be succeeding beyond what their expectations of you were. It can be just coming back with a really smart reply and throwing them off guard. Mm-hmm. And then when you walk away, you kind of have a smirk and a smile because you know that you sort of won that little mental challenge. Mm-hmm. So everyone feels hopeless at some point. The President of the United States feels hopeless at times. People who don't look hopeless, people who look like they have it all together and they have everything they could possibly want, never do. It's not true. Mm-hmm. And they always have moments where they feel like there's never going to be an answer and there's nowhere to turn and what could I possibly do to get out of this situation? Everyone feels that way. And the answer is there is always a way. It might not be an easy way. And it might not happen the way you want it to happen. And it might not happen as soon as you want it to happen. Mm-hmm. There is always, always, always a way to get out of every single situation that feels hopeless. You just have to be patient. When you fail, because we all fail, what can I do to do it better next time? And that right there is the most important thing for success. Because everyone is going to trip and everyone is going to fall down. Mm-hmm. So the question is, can you get back up? Mm-hmm. And what do you do to get back up? Have the burden to pick up where they left off and make sure that all those sacrifices that they made weren't for nothing. I mean, there are women that sat in jail and starved themselves. Can you imagine doing that? You leave your kids at home, you leave your family, and you get arrested and sit in jail just for the right to vote. All they wanted to do was vote. Mm-hmm. So they're sitting in jail and they do what's called a hunger strike. So they would sit in jail hungry for God knows how long, just so that you and I could have the right to participate in the world. That's a big thing. If you think about it, that's a really big thing that they did. And so, we have to do big things too. We have to acknowledge what they did for us and say, okay, what's next? What's next? Let's not waste this. What's next? What are we going to do?
And she told me what her definition of feminism was, and it was similar to mine. It was succeeding goals and being who you want to be in life.
Because they're sort of judging her on what she wants to do the news on based on what sex she is.
Allows me to feel like I can do anything and I can be anything, and don't let anyone deter your dreams, or basically you're capable of anything. And not just because you're a woman.
Right. she makes me think, like she puts in my head that I can be comfortable in my own skin, like doing whatever I want to do.
She taught me that I can be who I want to be. I mean, I knew that before, but it was like she took it to a whole nother level as to where, like, she didn't know what she wanted to do when she was 15, and then she went on this trip to the ABC newsroom, and she figured, like, it all clicked in like at one time, and it was just like, wow, maybe that could happen to me.
Every freckle on my face is where it's supposed to be.